needs constant pressure. And stress and pressure is not a bad thing. We have this thing where we feel like stress is bad. It's bad for you. Bad. You know, you need to relax, man. You need to chill. Stress will kill you. No, being bored will kill you. Not having anything to do will kill you. Is much more dangerous than stress. Yes, you can work too hard. You can work where there's no soul involved. I work like a fiend because I'm writing a book, and it's a very hard process for me. And I'm working far too much, but man, I love it. It's fantastic. And it could kill me. The stress could kill me, gave me a stroke. But I'd rather die under the stress than be bored and have nothing to do. Never complain, never explain. And what it means is, don't complain about life. Don't explain what you're doing or why you're doing it. Just do it. By whining and complaining, all you're doing is making people think bad things about you. You're looking weak. Stop whining and stop explaining yourself and just do things in the world and let your actions speak for themselves. So that level of focus has to have a lot of energy behind it because you're so in love with what you're doing that when you deviate from it, this little radar inside of your brain goes, you're off, you got to get back to it, right? And it's painful. But when you do get back to it and when things do click, it's incredibly pleasurable. So the focus for young people that seems so painful, God damn it, everyone else is having so much fun and I'm having to learn this. Just keep telling yourself that you're doing something that your brain is going to reward you with several years down the line. So that friend of yours that seems to be having so much fun, in 3 years, they're going to be sliding down the ladder, working at some crap job, whereas you're going to be rising up. So just keep your mind on the larger issue there, and know that working with what your brain works well with will pay incredible rewards down the line.
Above all else, focus on acquiring knowledge and skills. Knowledge and skills are like gold, a currency you will transform into something more valuable than you can imagine. It's similar to one of your tweets, which is eventually the time that was not spent on learning skills will catch up to you, and the fall will be painful.
Well, life can be kind of difficult. You don't really know sometimes where you're headed. Nobody kind of gives you any kind of guidance in this world, right? And they don't tell you when you graduate college, go ahead, go Robert, you go study this. This is what your brain is suited for, et cetera, et cetera. You have to find your own path. And so for me personally, I spent years in the wilderness. I know I want to be a writer, but I can't figure out what the hell I'm going to write. So I leave college and I tried journalism because I have to make a living. I have to support myself. And as somebody who studied ancient Greek and Latin in college, I think in terms of thousands of years and not in 3 days or a week, you know. I want something that I write to be read in 3024, you know. So I wander around Europe trying to write a novel with my backpack. I live in London. I live in Paris, I lived in Ireland, I lived in Greece, you name it. I taught English in Spain. Trying to write a novel, I had no discipline, I couldn't do it, it didn't work, and I was starting to get depressed. I had spent 18 years or so acquiring high levels of skill in writing. I learned in journalism how to write under a deadline, under pressure, how to make it dramatic, how to make the opening sentence exciting enough to make you read on further. Trying to write novels taught me about creating stories, which is a huge part of my writing. Working in Hollywood, I learned how to research, which is a huge element. And then the theatrical element, making things dramatic, also story. All of that time, slowly by slowly, brick by brick, I had developed
Grand Rising family, we're gonna get started in literally a couple minutes. What I need you guys to do is screenshot that you're on this call, send it out to your community chats, send it out to your main chats. Let's get more people on this call, and we're gonna get started in literally 2 minutes, guys.
real level skill. So when it came time to write the 48 Laws of Power, I could do it. I had learned all this discipline. I had learned how to write under a deadline. I learned how to make things entertaining, the whole bag. And so the world opened up for me. Prior to that time, I was miserable. And I didn't know why, but I was acquiring skills, not even aware of it. And so the reason I write that is when you develop that skill, when you're serious about it, because I was very serious about writing, you change your brain. You rewire your brain. And this is a remarkable power of the human brain that people don't realize. This one writer, his name is Schwartz, I believe. He's a UCLA neuroscientist. He wanted to help people who had OCD. And usually it's drugs and it's talking therapy. He wanted to find out something more effective. So he did brain scans. And through the strategies that he gave them to do, the brain scans show that they changed the brain. And his point was, through thinking, through developing skills, you literally change matter, you change your brain. So something non-material like thoughts can literally change material things like the wiring of your brain. You learn skills, you're changing your brain, you're changing the matter of your brain. Things are connecting that weren't connected before. And slowly, if you do it, if you're serious enough, a point will be reached like it was reached in my life, where either you will start a business or someone will ask you to do something like write a book or make a film, and the world will open up for you and you'll be able to do it because you have that, you've laid the ground, you've laid the soil, everything is there, it's rich, and now something great, amazing will sprout up out of it.
But for those that don't, they just don't have that belief. Can you lie to yourself? Can you tell yourself, I am strong and I am powerful?
Well, everybody has some good qualities, right? Everybody, I think almost everybody has something that they can go back to in the past and go, I was actually very good at that. That was actually a good moment. I actually was scored in that particular moment. And you can think about that. I mean, actors do that all the time in movies. When they want to express an emotion, they go back into their past, like they have to express sadness, they go back and they think about their father or mother who died and they call that emotion up. You can call that emotion up of when you did something.
Grand Rising, family Grand Rising. How are we all doing? 51 people on this call. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Cool. Grand Rising family, apologies for the little bit of the late start. I just got caught up. Dogs. But yeah, guys, let's get straight into it. For those of you that have never been on these calls, you have no idea what it is that you've just jumped on. This is a mindset call where we talk about becoming a 1% better version of ourselves, personal development, mindset, all of that fun stuff. And yeah, we just kind of talk about all the fun stuff, basically. The fun stuff. So it's not about trading, it's not about network marketing or any of those good things. And how we start off every call is with gratitude. So what are the things that you are grateful for? So if you guys don't mind, just popping in your gratitudes in the chat box. I know some people already have them on the go already ready. My gratitudes, I'm so happy and grateful that I woke up this morning. I'm so happy and grateful for God. I'm so happy and grateful for family, for friends, for experiences. I'm so happy and grateful for my dogs. I'm so happy and grateful for love, for laughter. I'm so happy and grateful for upcoming journeys that we're about to embark on. I'm so happy and grateful for knowledge. I'm so happy and grateful for lessons and challenges, which I think are also really important in contribution to this journey as well. I'm so happy and grateful for love, for laughter, for people to hold you accountable, people to care about you, your chosen family as well. I'm so happy and grateful for health, for wealth. Okay, let me read the chat boxes. Guys, there's 54 people in this call. I expect the chat box to absolutely blow up with gratitudes, and don't just sit here and listen to my lovely voice, okay? I'm so happy and grateful for the events that are coming up. I'm so happy and grateful for waking up today, happy and healthy. I'm so happy and grateful that I've woken up today. I have another opportunity to improve all levels of my life. Happy and grateful for life. I'm so happy and grateful for another day, my family in this life-changing industry. I'm so happy and grateful for my home, my family and friends. I'm so happy and grateful that I woke up today, that I have healthy body and that I have a home. I'm so happy and grateful for the fresh start of today. I'm so happy and grateful for the love and support in my life. I'm so happy and grateful for the person I'm becoming. I'm so happy and grateful for you, my family and my team and God and the simple pleasures. I'm so happy and grateful for a new day, new opportunities and everyone around me. So happy and grateful for waking up this morning, for God, for my family and friends. And because we all have wealth, love that. Happy and grateful for House of Riches, love that. So happy and grateful for life, my children, God, the opportunity and this team. I'm so happy and grateful for God, the breath of life, family, opportunity, loads and loads and loads and loads of gratitude. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Cool. So I just wanted to get into it today, guys. I know we started a little bit late, so I have been having loads of conversations, and this is something that I have mentioned briefly on my calls. And I was having a conversation with the lovely Joey the other day, and he kind of gave me a call and just asked me what I meant by a few things that I mentioned in the calls. And I want to encourage you guys that if you guys have any questions ever, then please feel free to ask them. This is a space where we are learning, where we are understanding, and some of the things that I mention are a little bit sometimes uncommon in terms of what we actually talk about. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them. But what I want to do is I want to actually talk about something that I learned probably last year, end of last year, probably just before September, I would say. Yeah, it was during summer last year. And I learned it. And when I learned it, I really dived deep into it because it just gave me a whole new perspective on life and a whole new understanding. So I really want to talk about it today because I definitely think this is something that can help a lot of people, because once I understood this, it really kind of changed the way that I kind of believed. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about belief first desire. And when it comes to belief, what belief is and what desire is, if you guys just drop a 1 in the chat box, if you guys have ever read Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, just kind of let me know if you guys have ever read that. Okay, amazing. So can you guys tell me, amazing, what is the first chapter in Think and Grow Rich? If you guys read it, then you would know the first chapter. Joey, I was about to say you're not allowed to say anything. But yes, it's desire. Okay, the first chapter of Think and Grow Rich is desire. And Napoleon Hill talks a lot about desire, what desire is. And he essentially says that desire is the starting point of all achievement, but only if you train it. Okay, so I'm going to be going through what desire is, what belief is, the difference between the two. Okay, and it's essentially the foundation of anything that you achieve in this life. Okay, so Napoleon Hill, he says that desire is the starting point of all achievement, not belief, not skill, not opportunity. He talks about desire, and most people misunderstand what he's actually talking about. Most people think that desire means like, I want it. That's not desire. You just wanting something is simply just a preference. Okay, it's simply just, I want that. Desire is when you are willing to pay for it. Desire is when you are willing to pay for what it is that you want. Okay, if you're willing to pay the price for it, it turns into desire. That's the difference. Okay, you don't get what you want. You get what you're willing to sacrifice for. Now, I urge you guys to really take notes on this training, because I'm going to try and go in as deep as possible to what was trained to me. And this is something that I learned from Bells. And when Bells gave the training, I really just kind of went off on one and just started doing loads of research about Napoleon Hill, how he talks about it. and just really the difference of it. And it's just given me a whole new perspective on things. Because for those of you that don't know, when I first started this industry, I actually didn't believe. And we talk a lot about belief, and belief is very, very important for you to be able to achieve what it is that you want to achieve. However, in the beginning, I didn't have belief. And it was very hard for me to imagine what it would be like to not have lack when lack was all I had known. It was very hard for me to imagine the life that I wanted when the life that I was currently living and the life that I came from was completely opposite to what it is that I wanted. So there were a few times where I had doubts. There were a few times where I didn't have belief. There were a few times where, you know, we would be jumping on calls and, you know, people would be saying like, this is what we're going to be doing. You're going to be a 6-figure earner, you know, you're going to be able to achieve this. And I just remember just kind of saying like, it sounds nice. It sounds nice. And I will do anything possible to get there. However, right now, I just don't believe. Okay, I just didn't believe at the time. That's me being completely transparent, completely honest. And belief is very important, as we all know. Okay, belief is very important. Okay, so the real difference between desire and belief, belief determines how you show up. Okay, but desire determines how long you stay. Okay, so belief determines how you show up, and desire determines how long you stay. If you have, let's say, weak belief and still win, you can have, how do I say? I really want to say this. You can have weak belief, like I did, and still win if your desire is strong enough. Okay, but you cannot have weak desire and expect belief to just carry you. Okay, and desire is what makes you repeat, makes you get up and go. It makes you like, it's the driving force. Okay, because belief, as we know, it gets built through repetition. For those of you that do your studying, what are the 4 things that can affect your belief system? Just drop it in the chat box. Just drop it in chat, the 4 things. And Joey, you're not allowed to answer. You're just banned from answering. Environment. Amazing. The words that you speak. Environment, information, experience, the words that you speak. Perfect. So that's exactly all the 4 things that affect your belief system. Okay. So when it comes to your belief system, that's something that can be built upon. It's something that you have to repeat in terms of actually building your belief system. It's something that you have to constantly fill in. Okay. And what a lot of people don't realize is that there are 2 different types of desires. Okay, now Joey, this is where you get out your pen and paper, because this we haven't spoken about. Okay, so there's 2 different types of desires. There's one that's unconscious desire, and there's 2 which is trained desire. Now, when I learned this, and Bells was the one that kind of taught us and really just kind of dove deep into this, and it completely changed my perspective. So there's 1 which is unconscious desire and 2 which is trained desire. Okay, there's 2 different types of desires. Okay, now I want you guys, there's a lot of people in this call that do everything that they need to do. You know, they do the work, they go crazy, and they have this thing inside of them that allows them to carry on, to show up regardless of how they feel it. Okay, and it could either be trained desire or unconscious desire. So unconscious desire is essentially, and what I want you guys to understand is most successful people have unconscious desire. Okay, most successful, it's unconscious. They wanted something so badly and they couldn't even explain why. Okay, and when I think about it, mine was definitely unconscious. I didn't have to train myself to feel the desire. Okay, most people that have unconscious desire, it's maybe because they grew up with lack, or they experienced something that told them that they don't want to experience this anymore. Maybe they saw struggle, maybe they wanted to prove something, and their circumstances built that fire inside of them, and they didn't need to work on belief. Their desire was so much stronger than their doubt. And what I want you guys to understand is most people cannot teach unconscious desire. I can't teach you unconscious desire because it comes from pain. So for those of you that have had challenging past and challenging experiences, and you realize you don't want to live that and experience that, you have an unconscious desire. And I understood this, and I said it actually makes sense, because it was hard for me, as I said, it was hard for me to believe the life that I wanted to live. It was hard for me to believe, okay? It was hard for me to go from lack to not being able to afford things, to being in debt, to now believing that I have all this money, to believe that I have a great relationship with money, to believe I had desire, and desire outweighed my doubt every single time, because I didn't want to live like that anymore. I was done with it. I seen my parents struggling. I was in enough pain to want to move. And Josh actually talks about a story like this, and it's underlying desire. So there's a dog, okay, and he sits on a porch, and a lot of you in the team probably have heard this story countless times. There's a dog that sits on a porch, not a car, a porch, okay, and he sits out, basically, let's say he just sits out in the garden, and he howls all day. And the owner just kind of doesn't do anything about it. He sits there, and a neighbor came and asked the owner, you know, why is he howling? Like, your dog is howling. Why is he howling? And he said, the owner said, he's sitting on a nail, but he must not be in enough pain, because if he was, he would move. A lot of people don't have desire because they haven't trained it, and they haven't experienced enough pain. Now, this is not to say that you haven't experienced any sort of pain, okay? This is not to say that, because some people have experienced a lot of pain, but it may not be enough, because if it was enough, you would move. There is people that constantly complain about their job. They constantly complain about their situation. They constantly complain about their life, not being able to afford things, not being able to have things. They complain about, their parents working hard. They complain about life. And then when you give them an opportunity, or, you give them a game plan, and they don't show up, and they don't do the things that are needed, they are not in enough pain. And people live every day like this. They are sick and tired of being sick and tired, but they don't do anything about it. If you're not changing, you're choosing. Exactly. A lot of people are not in enough pain, because if there was in enough pain, they would have the desire to change. They would have the desire to do something about it. Okay, they would have the desire. Okay, and the unconscious desire, it comes from that pain. It comes from environment. It comes from circumstances that we didn't necessarily choose. Okay, you can't manufacture trauma to build hunger. Okay, you can't do that. Okay, so what do we do if we don't have that? We train it. Okay, so there's a lot of people that naturally have it, and that's why you'll see a lot of successful people have come from hardship, have come from challenges. You'll hear a lot of successful people, I went through this and I just didn't want it anymore. I just knew that wasn't the life I wanted to live, and they changed their situation. A lot of successful people have come from hardship. It's not something I can put you through for you to be able to change it. Okay, I can't teach you to apply unconscious desire, because it's just something that you have to experience in order to put you in enough pain for you to now move. Okay, so that's unconscious desire. Then there is trained desire. Okay, now trained desire is something you can build. If unconscious desire isn't driving you, it's not making you want to get up, it's not making you be resilient, it's not driving you to get the things that you need to get done, then trained desire is where it's at. And this is something that you can build. And desire grows in stages, okay? There are 3 levels of desire. 3 levels of desire. There is number 1, yourself. There is number 2, your family. And number 3, your community. Now, on my journey, I already had unconscious desire. So a lot of the time when I first started, my reason why was me. My reason why was, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to live like this anymore. So this, like, I'm doing this for me. Okay. And then when I truly understood the industry that we're in, and I truly understood what this could actually do for people, it turned into my family. Okay, it turned to my family. And then as time went on and I've started helping my family, it then turned into community. And a lot of people will experience that. First it's you, then it's your family, and then it's community. Sometimes it's just you, then community. But a lot of people, they join because of themselves, because they need it. Okay. Now, trained desire, there's the 3 levels of desire. There's yourself, your family, and your community. Okay. When your desire is only about yourself, it's fragile. It's not where you want to stay for too long, because when you're tired, when you're emotional, when you're discouraged, when you don't feel like showing up today, you're going to negotiate. You're going to negotiate, okay, your dreams. You're going to negotiate your goals. Okay. But when your desire includes your family, you push harder. When your desire includes your community, that's when it becomes purpose. Now it becomes a mission. Now it becomes obsession. And Napoleon Hill, he talks about this. He talks about this in a different way. He calls it burning desire, okay? Burning desire isn't just, I want something. You have to attach your identity to it. It's saying, this is who I am. This is what I stand for. This is what I'm building. When you increase your desire, you then increase your foundation, your floor, your starting point. And you don't drop as low emotionally when you don't have many days where you don't show up. You don't quit as easily. You don't fold under pressure. You know, it becomes it's no longer focused around your emotions. It's about the mission. It's about really just kind of gaining that healthy obsession to be able to achieve what it is that you want to achieve. Okay, so to achieve something that you want to achieve, it's your dreams, your goals, whatever it is that you want to achieve, desire must turn into healthy obsession, not toxic obsession. Okay, not like what Robert Greene was just talking about, toxic obsession, and that's great, that works for him. Okay, healthy obsession is you have clarity. Okay, you have clarity, you know where it is that you are going, you know what it is that you should be doing, and you become obsessed. If you can become obsessed with serving your team, serving your community, if you can become obsessed with creating impact, if you can become obsessed with helping your family, if you can become obsessed with building something outside of yourself, something bigger than yourself, because when it's about you, you're going to stop. You're going to stop. You're going to give up on yourself, okay? When it's about others, you're going to want to grow. You're going to want to stretch. You're going to want to really just overcome a lot more challenges that come with it. And when it comes to doing it for your community or your family, you must be willing to be misunderstood. Because people are going to judge your actions before they understand your intentions, always. So people go off of actions, and it can take years before people realize you were doing it for the community all along. And you just have to be okay with being misunderstood. And if you now are okay with being misunderstood, you start doing the things even when you don't feel like it. You do the things even when you're scared. You do the things even just to overcome because you want it that bad. Not just for yourself, not just for your family, but community, generations after you. It has to be bigger than you. It has to be bigger than you. And that's when you'll start to get a healthy obsession, which then turns into desire, because I want this so bad. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get what it is that I want. And if you do not have that healthy obsession, if you do not have that desire, then you need to train yourself. And we're going to go through how to train yourself and how to build desire. And you guys are going to get onto me for this, but it's very simple. It's very simple. We talk about it all the time. However, I still have conversations, and I just know when I have conversations with people, I know people are not doing their personal development. Like, I can tell from one conversation with someone if you're doing your personal development or not. And personal development, yes, it's affirmations. Yes, it's gratitudes. Yes, it's goals and knowing what you're working towards. Yes, it's all of those things. Personal development is also reflection. Okay, it's also looking at where you go right and where you go wrong, and really taking the time to adjust those things. Okay, a lot of people will just affirm and gratitudes and goals, and then they think that, yeah, I'm personally developing. No, you have to look at where you've gone wrong, look at where you need to improve, and overcome yourself. Overcome yourself. Okay, so how do you build desire? Who remembers the TEAR system? TEAR. Just drop what T stands for, what E stands for, what A stands for, and what R stands for. Let's see who really, really plugs into these calls, because I've spoken about it probably about 4 or 5 times. Thoughts for T, emotions, actions, and the last one, results. Thoughts, emotions, actions, results. Your thoughts affect your emotions, which affect your actions, which affect your results. Stop typing so quick. So thoughts, emotions, actions, results. Okay, now a lot of people live their life backwards. A lot of people live their life backwards. They see their results, it then affects their thoughts, then affects their emotions, then affects their actions, which still affects their results. So they allow reality and their results to control their thoughts, not knowing that their thoughts have created their reality. Okay, so it starts off with your thoughts. Okay, and this is the starting point of the basis of anything you want to achieve, you want to create, everything. How you think affects how you feel. How your emotions, how you think affects your emotions. Okay, your emotions then affect your actions, what you do. Then your actions is what produces you your results. And your results will either strengthen or weaken your desire. But most people never reflect on their thoughts. We have 60,000 thoughts a day. And 40,000 of those, this is on average, obviously, 40,000 of those are repeated thoughts from the day before. So if you're a person that looks negatively on life and you think this is hard, or I'm behind, or I'm stuck, or why me, or this isn't working, or whatever it is, you weaken your desire, because that is going to affect your emotions, which is going to affect your actions, which then affect your results. But we can change our perception. So you can look at things and be like, what perspective can benefit me right now? And that question alone can even develop and strengthen your desire. We have to learn to play with the cards that we have been dealt. Too many people want to change their situation before they move, before they take action. Too many people want to wait until something pops up before we take action. You don't have enough desire to want to change your situation. You are just like the dog on the porch that is lying on the nail and complaining and in pain, but not doing anything about it. Okay. So let's dive deeper. Let's go to a new level. Desire and your subconscious mind. Okay. Your subconscious mind. Now, I really want to start diving deep into these calls, because I can keep it surface level for all the newbies, but I know there are a lot of people that jump on these calls and they want the nitty gritty. Okay, so we're going to try and dive into the nitty gritty a little bit today. Okay, so your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind, we have two minds. We have the conscious mind and we have the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind controls, I would even go on to say 95% of everything. Everything. It controls how you think, how you behave, how you act, how you perceive things, how you decide things. It operates without conscious effort. It's literally like tying your shoelace. You don't have to think about tying your shoelace. You just tie your shoelace. It is unconscious. You don't have to think, okay, one loop, two loop, tie the loops around each other. Like, you don't have to think about any of that. It is unconscious. Okay, it is unconscious. So your subconscious mind affects how you think, how you behave, how you act, how you perceive things, and how you make decisions. Okay, and it cannot consistently operate in ways that contradict your programming. Okay, let me say that again. It cannot operate in ways that contradict your programming. So everyone has a programming, and this is your subconscious is programmed by childhood, by experiences, environment, words spoken over you, repeated thoughts, information, the things that affect belief. We see it tying all together now. Okay, the things that are tying all together. So the person that you are today, you did not intentionally design. Okay, some people have been doing personal development for long enough that they've been able to intentionally design this person. Okay, but majority of people, you did not design this intentionally. It was your programming. Okay, it was the person that has been created from childhood, from all your past experiences, from the information that you have been exposed to, okay, from words spoken and spoken over you as well, okay? And you can train your subconscious like a muscle. But it requires something that a lot of people avoid. You must be willing to let go of who you are today. Success has to be intentional design. So you have to ask yourself, how do I want to feel in the future compared to how I feel now? Do I feel confident? Do I feel calm? Do I feel respected? Do I feel freedom? Do I feel powerful, whatever it is, and you have to design that version, and you then train your subconscious mind to match it. So when it comes to building desire, it requires you to repeat. It requires you to think of something outside of yourself. It requires you to really just understand that if you haven't been through pain or you haven't experienced pain, you're going to have to train your desire. Okay. So when it comes to your subconscious mind is what controls 95% of everything. Okay. It controls 95% of everything. Okay. What do you mean by operates? Guys, sometimes when you guys ask me to repeat things, I promise you I just kind of go on a ramble sometimes. So I honestly forget half the things I say, and sometimes I do not read the comments because they really throw me off. You're welcome. What did I say about operations? It operates 95%, I guess, is that talking about? But sometimes I just go on a ramble, guys. I'm flowing, I'm not rambling. Yes, that's what I meant. So you want to train your subconscious mind to match the version of you that you want to be. Okay, so how do we train our subconscious mind? Okay, your subconscious mind is shaped by your environments and your associations. This is where belief comes in. Your words, information, okay, experiences, okay, and imagination. I'll say those again. Environment and associations. So who you surround yourself with, what your environment looks like. Do you have pictures of your goals in your room, knowing where it is that you want to be? Do you surround yourself with people that are negative and pessimistic and look at the negative ways of life? Or do you surround yourself with people that lift you up, that hold you accountable, that pick you up? The information that you consume, are you scrolling through TikTok all day? Are you on Netflix? Are you watching Love Island and all of these things? Or are you really being intentional about the information that you consume, listening to podcasts, listening to Napoleon Hill, Jim Rohn, Bob Proctor? Okay, experiences. Okay, experiences is going to experience the things that it is that you want to achieve. Going to a nice restaurant, you can go to a nice restaurant and order some water. Okay, just experience it. Go and test drive or sit in the dream car that you have. Okay, go and experience and learn to experience and be intentional about experiencing the things that you want. You don't have to believe that you have it right now, but this will help you build your desire. Okay, words that we speak and our imagination. So visualization, meditation. If you spend too much time around doubt, your belief will weaken. If you consume content that contradicts your goals, contradicts your desire, contradicts your goals, contradicts your dreams, then your desire will fade. Okay, if you let negative words repeat in your mind and you don't correct your mind and you leave it go undisciplined, it's going to shrink your desire. Everyone on this call should be consuming information that aligns with where it is that they're going. How do you want to be? Oh, yeah. So your subconscious operates your programming. Okay, yeah. So your subconscious operates 95% of what it is that you do, and it's based on your programming. So based on your childhood experiences, it's based on information that you've been exposed to, words that has been spoken over you. Okay, yeah. So hopefully that makes sense. But when it comes to it, okay, everyone should be consuming information that aligns with where it is that they are going. Okay, you have to understand that if you want to be, let's say, for example, I hear people say, I want to be a trader, or I want to be a network marketer, and I want to be the top income network marketer. But they don't study the great traders. They don't study the great network marketers. They don't study people that are already succeeding in the field. You say you want to be a trader or you want to be a top network marketer, then this is funny. You say that you want to be a director. Let's just say that, because I hear a lot of people say they want to be director. And then a director tells you, okay, this is what it takes to be director. This is what you need to do. This is how you need to do it. And then you don't do it. And then you have the audacity to say, I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to do it how I want to do it. I'm going to do it my own way. Do it your own way. You have never walked the path that you want to walk. You have been programmed in a certain way that has gotten you to where it is that you are now. You cannot do it your own way. It's impossible for you to do it your own way. You cannot go where you have never been without being shown the way. Your own way, you don't even know how to get there. Exactly, your own way brought you here. And I had to learn this in the beginning, where I was like, I'm going to do it my own way. I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to do it like this. And I stayed stuck. I stayed stuck because I was so egotistical. I thought I knew it. But if I knew it, then I would be in their position. So stop saying you're going to do it your own way. Someone had to walk before you can run. I was having this conversation with Silver actually last week, where so many people before you had to walk through the mud so you can walk on marble. And it's like looking at the marble floor and saying, no, I'm going to walk through the mud and get stuck anyway. Just listen and do. Just listen and do. Just listen and do. Okay? Your words and your imagination is the most practical tool that you have. Your subconscious responds to repetition and emotion. If you repeatedly see yourself achieving and succeeding, and you repeatedly surround yourself with people that have the results that you want, you repeatedly do the things and you're in enough pain and you just do the things regardless of how you feel. If you repeatedly speak your goals, if you repeatedly act in alignment with the version of you that you want to be, you will start to reprogram. You will start to reprogram, but you have to repeat it. If you don't have unconscious desire, you have to train it. I'm sorry to break it to you. I'm sorry to break it to you. You're going to have to train it. You're going to have to repeat every single day your goals, your thoughts, your affirmations, your thinking about the version of you that you want to be. If your desire includes your community, your decisions will start to change. You will start to say, if I do this, what can it do for others? You will learn perspectives. You will learn perception. You will listen more than you talk. You will ask questions instead of assuming. And you won't come to the table with ego. You won't come to the table with ego. So yes, belief matters. It matters. But desire is the starting point. I had desire in the beginning. I didn't have belief in the beginning. I had desire in the beginning. I wanted it so bad. I was willing to do anything to get it done because I was in enough pain. So I'd done the things even when I didn't feel like it. I'd done the things upset. I'd done the things when I didn't see any results. I'd done the things when I had to. And not even when I had to, when there was I didn't have any other option. So stop acting like you've got so many options in this life. If you want it, you're going to do the things needed. What does that do? What do you need to do? The tier system. Your thoughts affect your emotions, affect your actions, affect your results. What is it that you are thinking on a daily basis? Are your thoughts positive? Are you thinking about distractions? Are you thinking about what's going to contribute towards your goals? Are you thinking about who it is that you want to be? Are you thinking about what your goals look like, how that looks like to you, what that feels like? Are you going and trying to experience it? Are you even looking at the things that it is that you want? Are you even trying to experience the things that you want by going to the Porsche dealership, or going to the Range Rover dealership and actually sitting in the car? Are you looking at people in this world that actually need help and knowing that you could be the person to help them? If your desire is weak, belief is not going to save you. If your desire is strong enough, your belief will catch up. I don't need you to believe you're going to be a six-figure earner tomorrow. I need you to want it so bad enough that you're going to do anything to get it, regardless of how you feel. You shouldn't have to wait for trauma. You shouldn't have to wait to build the hunger. You can train it. And some people are going to listen to this. They're going to get motivated for 5 minutes and they're going to do some things today. And then tomorrow they're going to go back to the same old stuff that's been holding them back. And unfortunately, there are going to have to be some people that are going to have to experience trauma for them to move. And I would rather you train your desire so you can do the things rather than waiting to be in enough pain. So expand your vision, your mission, your dreams and your goals outside of you as well, beyond yourself. Change your perspective on things. Start guarding your subconscious mind and stop surrounding yourself with negative people, watching Love Island when you know that contributes to nothing. Start designing your future self and thinking about the version of you that you want to be. Be okay with being misunderstood. Be okay with people having an opinion. Be okay with people laughing at you. And become obsessed. Become obsessed with that version of you that you want to create. Become obsessed with actually getting out of the situation that you want. Become obsessed with wanting to quit your job. Become obsessed with wanting to help your children. Become obsessed with wanting to retire your parents. Become obsessed. Think about it. Control yourself and train your mind to think about it obsessively. Train your mind to think about it obsessively and you will move. A lot of people say to me, Sammy, are there days where you don't feel like it? Yes. Yes. There's so many days where I don't feel like it. And then I think about my reason why. I think about the pain that I used to be in. I think about the life that I came from. And I said, damn, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to show up anyway. Because I'll be damned if I ever go back to a job. And when I used to work, that was pain. I did not like my job. I did not like living paycheck to paycheck. I did not like being able to live the life that I wanted to live. I did not like being broke the 3rd to 4th week into the month, every single month. I did not like being in debt. I was in enough pain where it was only this or this. So you really need to get your ducks in order and figure out what it is that you want. If you're not in enough pain, start thinking about your situation to start giving you the desire to want to change your situation. If you're happy with your situation, you're going to have to train your desire. You're going to have to train your desire. Okay? So with that being said, I really hope that we understand the difference between belief and desire and how important desire actually is. And looking back on it, in the beginning, I didn't believe. And there's some people on this call that probably don't believe. You don't believe that you're going to quit your job. There is doubt inside of you that you're going to, not be able to achieve the things that you want to achieve. But if you want it bad enough, you're going to show up anyway. and then it will happen. Then you'll start believing. Okay. So with that being said, guys, hopefully you took something from this call. I appreciate you as always. And I hope you guys took loads of notes. You're more than welcome. You are more than welcome. So have an amazing day, guys. I really, really hope you reflect on this call. You reflect on where it is that you're currently at. You reflect on, where it is that you want to go, and don't allow yourself to really hold you back. Okay. Hearing your voice in the shower is lovely. That is a joke. All right. Have an amazing day, guys. Take care. Stay blessed. And we go again Thursday, 8 a.m. Take care, guys. You're welcome.